this thing move and making things move. Just go about incorporating the movement in your life that you will not be stopped. No matter what comes up, you must tell yourself on a day in, day out basis that you got what it takes to go forth. You see, a lot of people gonna say they tricks, but you just got to go about doing yours. And in doing yours, it's gonna make it so that all things fall into place. Life is hard if you make it hard. Life is brutal if you go about wanting to make it brutal. Life is full of joy if that's what you go about seeking. So just come to know that in everything that you do, it all depends on your outlook. Your outlook will go about dictating what kind of pace and how things go about moving. You see, a lot of people may say that life is dependent upon outside factors, but that's where I come to tell them everything starts and ends with you. So if you don't do nothing, ain't nothing gonna transpire, ain't nothing gonna kick off. So just know that life is not a lie. And the more we go about comforting lies, the more it shows how really damaged we are inside. But that's the beauty of this whole thing, is when we can go about acknowledging where we're at in life. You see, everybody wants to paint this picture that goes about showing things from a certain perspective and believing that if they go about living that way and the ideologies that they go about formulating, that things will go about changing. But ain't nothing gonna change if you don't come to see what kind of life you're living. I'm here to tell you, that's what the Christians call living in sin. But this is a mere wake-up call. And in that, when we go about waking up from that sleep that we're in, that illusion that we have gone about comforting, when we go about telling ourselves things that brings a little bit of hurt, that makes you look at yourself from a certain position and be like, you know what, I just can't keep living the way I'm living, because what I'm doing, it's not helpful, it's more hurting me. And within that, be okay with some of the things that you go about seeing about yourself, because everybody believes they got what it takes until that time comes. And reality, let's just say that reality is the equalizer. It goes about putting us in our place so that we are not left feeling as if though we have figured out life. Because just because you're good at one thing, that don't mean you're good at all things. You must become well-rounded in order to go about tackling everything. But some of us, because people have gone around or not gone about telling us how full of crap we really are, we really start to believe some of this stuff that we tell ourselves. And in believing some of that stuff, when life don't go our way, we begin to blame everybody else. But it's not everybody else that made you do what you did. You see, like I was talking to this female, and she was going off about, oh, I let this dude borrow some money, and this dude came up and was trying to sucker her for some more money. But she got mad at the fact that she fell prey and victim to this guy manipulating and using her in a situation. So when that happened, her little feelings got hurt. So I said, why are you mad? Because if you look at it, all the signs were there. But you just didn't want to believe what you were seeing. Because you've been telling yourself some worthless things. And in telling yourself some worthless things, life is a cruel thing. It's going to get your attention. It's going to make sure that you learn this lesson. Because if you don't, let's just say, it'll be back around again. So after several conversations of trying to go about illustrating the message that life was more trying to go about showing her that your viewpoints is what led to your downfall, and in that you becoming a victim of somebody who was manipulative. And when we become a victim, it's either circumstances of one or two things. You see, if we go back to the laws of nature, we'll see that all predators are opportunistic. And because all predators are opportunistic, they go about looking for that easy prey. And in looking for that easy prey, they go about seeing which one will bring about the least resistance. So, it teaches us that in order for us not to become the prey, we must guard ourselves. We must be mindful of the people that we go about talking to, entertaining on different levels. Because either you're a prey or you're a predator. And the sad part about it is, people are teaching their kids to become predators. They are ingratiating a mentality which goes about promoting a sense in that go about getting that easy win. But the things that I come to tell you in this is that if one should go about looking at themselves and becoming brutally honest with themselves, they will not fall prey to the predator. I'm not saying, hear me when I say this now, I'm not saying you're not going to have encounters with predators. But you will be able to spot a predator as the predator approaches. And in spotting these things, you will have come to know yourself. Because sociology teaches us that we go and look for things which is lacking in certain environment in order to go about filling that void. But in filling that void, we fill that void with a deeper void. You see, that's the mindset of a predator. In order for you to catch a thief, you must begin to think like a thief. In order for you to guard yourself against a predator, you must think and see how the predator goes about stalking out its prey. So that when the predator goes about approaching you, that you do not become a victim of these things. And some may say it's coincidence, some may say it's bad luck, but I come to tell you, all things are purposely done so that you may become wiser, smarter, faster, stronger. It's the viewpoint we go about looking at things from. Because somebody took advantage of you yesterday, that does not dictate bad luck, witch doctors, and all that foolishness. It's just about teaching you. It's time for you to wake up because you're asleep at the wheel. And if you're asleep at the wheel, you're going to crash. And that's what a lot of us are going about doing. We're crashing because we are not going around, going about studying what we need to study. We come from a mindset in that because I view the world from this perspective, everybody sees it the same way. Now, let me be the first to tell you, we're not all the same. Our concepts, our ideologies, our morals totally differ from case to case. So if that goes about showing you the difference that we have within our way of doing things, then we can't believe that just because you value, you hold yourself to morals, which is upright, that everybody comes in the same manner. So it's like a lion and a deer resting in the Yay! Had to do something right quick, but we back. Like I keep trying to tell y'all, ain't nothing gonna stop this movement right here. Because we gonna make sure we do it right. And in doing it right, it's the ideology of going about placing things to a higher status in our lives. But as I was saying, when a prey and a predator gets together, it's a damaging outcome. Because the predator's job is to go about looking for the weakness of the prey so that it may go about garnering that opportunity. But this is what I come to ask. On a basis that it's personal, but you know how we get down on this live, we take things to another level because we need to go about incorporating that mindset that nothing gonna hold us back. So I need to ask, why is it that we have not come to go about getting rid of the predators who are around us? Now, you might be wondering, like, what the hell is this dude talking about, getting rid of the predators around us? The reason I go about asking in that viewpoint is this. When we look at life and some of the people around us, some people around us are not living righteous. Some people around us, they going about doing things which more leads us to question, why do we deal with these people? But maybe you don't have a lot of friends. So let me narrow it down more. It might be people in your family who are just, let's just say, their whole purpose from their viewpoint is to go about getting people before they're gotten. But the reason I go about starting off in that viewpoint is this. The energy we tolerate around ourselves will go about finding us because we have not gone about doing the right thing and separating ourselves from these people. We will become victims because that's what those people are radiating out. And what those people are radiating out is worthlessness. So one must go about asking. Ask yourself, are you doing everything in your power to make sure that you're okay? Are you going around questioning yourself on how you go about viewing things in regards to why you feel the way you feel about certain issues? And despite what those issues might be, it might be some family issues that you have where the settling feeling have a hard time coming around. And it's only because it's so close to home. And with it being so close to home, do you go about looking at it and saying, Do I just keep condoning this abusive nature, or do I just do what's right for me? Because you see, a lot of people don't go about understanding the true definition of what it means to have family. But I always go about telling everybody, if we would just come to know the truth, we would go about seeing all the things that we're going around tolerating is deciding how we live. And being deciding how we live, you see, they got a lot of worthless ass people in this world. And not everybody in your family is your family, despite what they try to tell you. It all makes sense in a bit. If we look up the definition of family, we will see that family is anybody who is genetically of the same background. But when we go about really looking at the family in Lee, it's a attitude that goes about garnering, doing what is right. So just because people in your family come to say, I got your back, look at how they act. But because we have never been exposed or taught the true definition of what it means to be family, we just go about holding on to this viewpoint that I have to go about tolerating. And in tolerating these people, it makes one question, what am I really going about doing? But the reason we are lost to a lot of things, it's only because we do not know the truth on a lot of different matters. And the truth of the matter is, if we would just go about examining, just start looking at the people that we entertain or that we go about tolerating, then we would see that what we're entertaining is what we're going about replicating. And I don't need for you to go about telling yourselves that I'm different than my environment, that I'm different, I'm not like my family, because we practice something long enough that we can't even go about recognizing it. And in not being able to recognize these things, it's only because it's become a part of our nature and how we go about applying ourselves to things. You see, the very thing that you find irky, despising, or repulsing, it's only because it's within you. That's why you can go about identifying these things. Identification brings a certain level of awareness. And if you are repulsed, or if you become angered by your siblings' bitterness, it's only because you're bitter. If you become repulsed by your brother's jealousy, it's because you have jealousy within you. So now, You might not go about displaying it to the level in which they go about doing it, but these same characteristical traits you carry within you. But because nobody want to see their family as screwed up, we don't want to go about identifying these things. So we in turn, we go about making excuses for some of these things that we go about seeing. And instead of, hey, what's going on? So I got, okay, yeah, so instead of us going around looking and dealing with what we see within our family, we become dismissive of it. Hey, thanks a lot, man. It's a motivational, inspirational, self-reflecting live that I try to go about incorporating to have people look at themselves and just see how they're going about doing things. Because one thing that I go about telling everybody is this: the only way change is going to start is when you go about making that change for yourself. And change starts from within. Change is not something that comes from outside. Validation is not something that comes from outside. You got to go about making that change, and then things is going to change in your life. But if you're continuously doing the same old things in life, ain't nothing going to change. The situation can't get better because you haven't implemented anything better to go about making the outcome better. You see, so majority of the world is just complaining. But instead of them going about doing something new, instead of them going about implementing, looking at the way how they're doing things, they want to blame this one, they want to blame that one. But the person that's to blame is they self. But we don't want to go about holding ourselves accountable. We don't want to tell ourselves we're not putting in the work. You see, if you don't put forth no effort, ain't nothing gonna jump off. Ain't nothing gonna happen. So I got a podcast too. The only way to go forward is stop looking behind, and it's along the similar nature here. So it's just more about promoting that self-discipline that we need, looking at some of the traumas that goes about affecting us. Um, a lot of people are dealing with depression, loneliness, not being accepted. So there's a lot of different issues. Hey, thanks a lot, man. What's up? There's a lot of different issues that I try to go about dabbling into and trying to give people that insight so that they could go about doing something about how they're feeling on a day-to-day basis. And that's the motivation and why I try to do the lives and why I try to go about reaching out to the masses and then them just knowing that somebody cares. Because when you're in a bad place, in a lonely place, and you believe that no one cares, it becomes more disparaging. It becomes more painful. But all they need to do is just keep going in life. That's the magic. That's the key. Nothing lasts forever. For all things has an end. The good times, it's going to be good. The bad times, it's going to be bad. But both of them, they got to end. Nothing lasts forever. So the whole point is just that endurance and staying the course. That's the magic right there. That's the key that we need to go about getting out to everybody. Change starts when we start to change ourselves. We can't hold on to a worthless ideology and believe that change is going to take place. That's why the lottery is so successful. It gives people a foolish sense that they can strike it rich, and without them having to do anything. It's a con. It's a way of tricking you and manipulating you and having you believe that you don't have to do nothing and you're going to get rich. The system has us right where it wants us. That's why we need to go about looking at what we're doing, why we're doing these things. And in looking at these things, then we could go about saying, oh, I'm not going to be a sucker for that. Like earlier in the live, I was talking about predator and prey. And in that, the predator looks for the weakness of the prey in order for it to go about taking advantage. My point that I would like to go about emphasizing to everybody is look at your deficiencies in life. Acknowledge where you're at. If you're lonely, come to terms with why you're lonely. If you're feeling down and out, look at why you're feeling down and out. Because that con man, he's looking. And if you don't go about addressing it, that con person is going to go about exposing it. You see? So it's more about just reflecting, looking at self, and being honest with self, man. That's the most important part, I believe, that people underestimate, in that they go about telling themselves things, but they're not honest in how they go about what they're telling themselves. You see, so truth is the biggest factor that we have to go about applying in our lives. And if we're not applying that truth, then we're practicing mediocrity. And in practicing mediocrity, we just gonna stay complaining. But life is not about complaining. Life is about growing. Life is about developing. Life is about enhancing a mentality which goes about promoting and challenging all things. Like I went on a live, I had to tell people, the minute we start questioning what's going on around us, with us, and how we go about doing things, is the minute we can start going about implementing different things. But if we're just accepting what everybody is giving us, then we can't change nothing, because we have become complacent in just allowing everybody else to go about dictating and pushing us around. Nah, life is better than that. Life is sweeter than that. Life is joy. Life is beauty. And if we would just give ourselves that chance to go about experiencing that beauty, that would be a beautiful thing. And that's what I'm more trying to go about promoting, man. And that life is beautiful. It only asks that you go about doing what you got to do to enjoy that beauty, because it's not given. Nothing in this world is given. Everything that you got, everything that you want, you're going to have to go earn it. Even a peace of mind, you got to earn that. You see? So life is trying to show you. You got to get up and put in the path, put in your work. Like the other day, I made another live in regards to the thirst. A lot of us are thirsty. A lot of us are hungry. But we see people who have become obese and they're still hungry because they're not filled. They go about filling themselves with emptiness. And in filling themselves with emptiness, it creates a bigger void. You see, the void. Yeah, life is beautiful and you should not hide from the outside world. You only live once, so the one thing you can explore what the earth has to offer. Beautifully. Well said. Well said. That's what I'm talking about. So, and that there's people who go about eating at a continuous rate and they're still hungry. There's others who go about drinking nonstop and yet they're still thirsty. It's only because they have not gone about finding that peace that goes about satisfying that hunger or quenching that thirst. But no matter what you do, if you do not go about looking internally and go about examining what you have going on in your life, you will forever be thirsty. You will forever be hungry. You could get that job, but you won't feel satisfied. You could get that house, but it won't be a home. You see, satisfaction comes when we go about addressing the turmoil that's in our lives. You could get that wife, but I guarantee you're going to lose her. Because you're going, if you're being abusive inside, you're going to be abusive outside. We have to start addressing these things in our lives so that we get to enjoy that beauty. We get to enjoy that person who is waiting at home for us and is wanting us to do good in life, but not become abusive in abusing that person. Because, like what I tell everybody, what you know is what you're going to go about doing. If you see abuse at home, you're going to be abusive. It's just the nature. We're a product of our environment to a certain degree. We see hurt being tolerated at home. We're going to go about tolerating hurt outside. But we must stop these things. Because just because somebody else did it, that doesn't mean it's okay. You see, we have to go about checking ourselves. We have to go about looking at ourselves and go about taking a stance. And that we have to do better by ourselves. We want the whole world to treat us. Okay. We want the whole world to treat us right. But we're not even treating ourselves right. We always looking, oh, look what I did for them. Look what I did this. Look what I did that. Okay, if you would just go about applying that same energy to yourself, that would be okay. But you want somebody else to do it. You see, we have become mentally, physically lazy in going about doing what we need to do for ourselves. We want everybody else to do something that we won't do for ourselves and expect things to change. Nah, it just don't work that way. And certain things is never going to be, because the laws of physics teaches us without an action, there could be no reaction. Energy needs work. So the point of emphasis that I'm trying to go about making, you got to put in that work. You got to make something happen. And then put in that work. Don't become easily tired, because this is not a short overnight thing. This is the lifelong quest right here. This for the duration. And I'll be the first to go about telling you. A lot of people get complacent because when they go about seeing a little progress and things changing, they let up and they become undisciplined in how they're going about making their approach. My point exactly. You can't wait on nobody. But that's what's got the world. Majority of us are just sitting around waiting for everybody else to come correct it, fix it, or going about analyzing it for it to be broken down so we can go about doing something about it. But if we would just stop and realize the power lies within us. We have to want it in order to go about getting it. The minute you go about wanting better for yourself, you're going to go get it. It's not about feeling sorry for yourself. Nah, everybody been through some things. I'll be the first to tell you. Even a person with a golden spoon is going through some things right now. Look at the Menendez brothers. Hate to bring this shit up. They was born in a privy lifestyle. Being molested, being touched. You see what I'm saying? Everybody go through some things. Now, I know a lot of us have gone through issues in our lives. Some internally, some externally. But the reason I go about saying this is to show that no matter what the thing that you have been through, do not let that be the reason you're not going around progressing in life. Do not let that hinder you and hold you back. There's countless people who have had traumatic childhoods. Look at Conor McGregor. I'll use that character just for the sake of this conversation. I'll use Elton John just for the sake of this conversation. My man father didn't really promote or accept who dude was. And he had to make a choice. And then that, do I allow what this person believes about me to go about dictating my pace or my progress in life? Or do I go about doing something? Elton John is one of the most universally known icon in the world. But the reason I go about bringing him up is, despite his little lifestyle behavior, he went about believing in himself. And he didn't have a pity party for himself. He didn't say, oh, because my dad don't love me, because my dad don't play kumbaya with me, because my dad don't. Nah, that man said, I got to get up and do something. And when he got his ass up and did something, something happened. And that's the magic key. So, let it be that whatever you feel's holding you back, bothering you, slowing you down, I need for you to go about addressing that. And in addressing that, make your progress in life. Step forward. Do what's right for you. Make it so that nothing gets in your way. Because I'll be the first to tell you, when you're down and out, ain't nobody gonna look your way. If you don't have shit, you don't have friends, you don't have family. That's just the golden rule. But get something. Acquire a little something. Amass something. Everybody know you. I know you could have did it. I said, I believed in you when nobody else did. But it's just showing you that person's viewpoint. Don't be mad with them. That's just how they get down. Accept them for who they are. You see, everybody has scars. But the scars does not go about defining what you will go about doing. Everybody's been through some things. And if everybody's been through some things, if we look at life, the ones that go about making it, they're not held back by what they have been through. They use that as a fuel, a driving factor, a catalyst in order to go forward. So whatever you've been through, use that shit as jet fuel to help propel your ass to where you got to get to. And that's the golden ticket. Use it as jet fuel. You've been through that for a reason. That's your motivation. You don't have to look for outside motivation. You don't have to look for outside stimulation. You already got everything you need. You just don't know how to go about applying it. And you see, that's the key. Everybody is not looking at a equation and saying, what could I go about taking away out of this? Life has this old adage. If life give you lemons, all make lemonades, make lemon pie, make something lemon. Don't complain because you wanted apples. If you got apples, make something apples. Hey, thanks for tuning in, man. Bless up. I love the energy. I was just feeling it and just pushing it out there. If you know anybody who can you go about using these contents, hey, let them tune into the live and hopefully we can go about addressing some of the things in which they're dealing with in their life and then go from there. So have a blessed one. Stay up and continue to seek that positivity and that upliftment in your life, man. Bless up. I love it. I love it. So, 1 second right quick. I love it. I try to go about being constant with the live streams on a daily basis. It's either 12 or like 1 or 1:30. But if you subscribe, you should get a notification when I'm going live. And just going about promoting that good energy. Because I believe with good energy breeds positivity. So have a blessed one. I know you got things to do, but thanks for tuning in. So that's the key right there. It's just more about going about promoting that healthy energy that we all need. Yeah, sorry about that. So, it's just going, man. We just got to do things in our life that make it. We just got to do things in our life that make it a little easier for ourselves. You see, we just got to do things that is comfortable. Not in the sense that because you find comfort in what you've become accustomed to doing, but we find comfort in getting to know who we are. Because the minute we go about examining what we are in life, then we can go about seeing that certain things just don't feel right. And when you go about knowing why those things don't feel right, then you can go about staying away from those things. But in order for us to go about making things better for ourselves, we have to go about looking at the direction we're taking with ourselves. Just because the group or the crowd or everybody you know is going in that direction, that doesn't mean it's a good direction to go about taking. The thing that I want you to take away from all this is I need for you to see why you're doing what you're doing. Why are you living the way you're living? And when you come to terms with why you're doing what you're doing, then you will see the difference in life. But I got a question for y'all in regards to the topic of the day, and that predator and prey. Is the way we go about approaching life from a selfish perspective in regards to we believe that the world owes us something, or is it that the prey believes that it must go about it's just damned to failure? And asking yourself that if you find yourself in one of these two circumstances of looking at life or viewpoint or however you want to go about placing it, why do you believe it's okay to look at life from a predatorial standpoint? And if you're the prey, ask yourself, why do you believe it's okay and you going around tolerating others to go about abusing you and misusing you? So just take a moment for yourself, man. That's all I'm asking. And then you go about doing things which promotes a healthy lifestyle. Stop abusing yourself. Stop allowing others to go about abusing you. Stop fighting with yourself. In order that you can go about loving yourself. Because that's what the thing is. When you start loving you, you will find others to go about appreciating and valuing you and loving you. But love starts from within. Love doesn't come from outside. You have to value you. You have to go about loving you. That is the key. That's the upliftment. That's the motivation. That's the stimulation that I need for you to hold on to. Love you. And when you love you, you're going to find that true love. Because love and hate will never be friends. So just know, if you want love in your life, the way to go about getting love is when you start loving yourself. Because the energy and vibration that you're emanating will go about showing to others that you have respect for yourself, that you have compassion for others, that you are considerate of others. But a lot of us, we want to go about cheating the process. If I have a nice car, or if I have a good job, he's going to see value in me. But if a person that is confident in themselves and knows what they want, all these other things won't go about influencing that person. You see, they had a female that was talking the last time, and she said she had to learn this lesson, and in that, when you find a man who knows what he wants, there's nothing you can do for that man but be a companion to that man. And these are some of the things that we all must go about incorporating. When you find somebody who knows what they want, become a companion. That person doesn't need for you to go about whatever you call yourself doing in need of validation. That person is going around looking for somebody he can go about building with. You see? But if we are bringing in that same empty, worthless baggage, even if it's a good man or woman, you're going to run them off. Because you haven't taken care of your shit. You haven't gone around looking at yourself. If you believe that you are the world's prize and come in with an attitude, what you think that person going to do with you? That person going to kick you to the curb. Because you do not go about completing that person. You believe that in order for that person to be successful in life, it's only with you. But I'm here to tell you, when one door closes, another one opens. And when another door opens, opportunity will present itself. That man will go about finding that person that will go around treating that man the way that man wants to be treated. So, if you got a man or got a woman, look at how you're going around treating that person. Because life does not go about catering to abusiveness. Life does not go about catering to worthlessness. Value your person in your life so that when times get rough, you have somebody to lean on. You have somebody to talk to. And it's not always in a argumentative state. Because I'm going to be the first to tell y'all, every person in this life wants peace. It's not money. It's not the big house. They want peace. And in finding that peace, if they know they got somebody in their life that despite what happens, they can go at home and be their weakest self without being judged, without being scorned, without being kicked down. That person would trade all that in, because he would trade all that he had just to go about to get that sense of peace. There's a lot of people who goes about avoiding their relationships because there's no peace. And if there's no peace in a home, that home is not worth staying in. So just know that every day you must do things in order for you to go about looking at yourself and how you're living, so that when that opportunity comes, it's not a wasted opportunity. It's not you taking things for granted. It's not that you allowing that person in your life to step out. It's not you holding on to an attitude that everybody's out to get you. So when you do these things, be honest with yourself, man. Be honest with yourself in that how you're doing things, why you're doing things. Hey, what's up? What's up? Oh, my man, Fortnite. Okay, bless up. How's the what are you guys doing? Football now, right? How's the football coming along? Oh, you guys are doing wrestling. Okay. All right. Hey, just do your little workout, man, and strengthen your mind along as with your body. That's the key right there. Once you go about strengthening these things, life is just about adjustments. Life is the same concept as wrestling. It's how you go about reacting and not being hesitant. So use what you're learning from wrestling to go about applying to yourself on a daily basis. You can't go wrong. So that's one of the things. So anything that you would like to touch on today? How was the week? I hope we focusing on the grades and stuff like that, and getting to a better place on a daily. No response? Okay, well, hopefully everything is progressive and everything is righteous with you, man. Just keep going. All we could ask for is that you do what you got to do for yourself, you see. And with you doing that, then it gives you a chance in life. So, like I'm going to tell you, like I tell my kids, man, school is primary. School is first and foremost. Everything else is secondary, because don't take life from an instance where you believe nothing will change. Life is forever changing, and we don't know what tomorrow may bring. But the more you're prepared for life, the better it gives you a chance at dealing with life. So, prioritize and look at how you're doing things and make the adjustments. So that's what's up right there. So are you like a team captain on your wrestling team? We lost Fortnite? Oh, okay. So, yeah. But Make it so, man. Make it that you want good in every situation, in every circumstances, and that you're going around exhausting everything. Do not become complacent with life. Do not look at life and take life for granted. But always try your best. And in trying your best, it will help you develop a mindset and an attitude that no matter what you go about coming up against, you're going to give it your best, because that's an attitude that you have incorporated on a daily basis. And once you go about incorporating that attitude, that no matter what you run up against, you're going to give it your best, then it'll erase that doubt out of your life. And so much of our young kids is filled with doubt. If they would just go forth and try, they would do things that would go about surprising themselves. So, just all I ask is that every young person just go about trying. Just try. That's all we could ask of you. Win, draw, or lose, try your best. And in winning, look at how could I have done something better. And losing, look at what did I do or what did I contribute to why I lost. It's not that the next person is better than you. It's not that the next person is stronger than you. You are doing things which allow certain things to take place. But once you go about looking at that from a viewpoint and seeing that, okay, I lost because I did this, then you will know that I can't do that, because that gives the opponent an advantage in life. So just look at it from a viewpoint in that always look at what could I do to go about getting better? What do I need to go about working on? Because there's always something we need to go about working on. Do not become satisfied or complacent. But that's where I leave you, and that's my blessing. 1.